Chapter 1326. Rise in Formation Path Attainment Level. A while later, after 2 tries, Fang Yuan successfully constructed a goo formation in the Dream Realm. This goo formation still used Formation Heart Goo as the core. It was just that the Earth Path Goo Worm was hovering above the Formation Heart Goo, while the Fire Path and Wind Path Goo Worms revolved around the Water Path Goo Worm. And the Water Path Goo Worm spanned the distance of a hand below the Formation Heart Goo, continuously moving up and down. The goo formation made by these goo worms emitted a hazy white light that shrouded the panther. That's right. This goo formation was an entrapment goo formation targeted at the panther and did not protect the goo master themselves. Constructing it was not easy. The panther continuously moved around, influencing the construction of the goo formation. Occasionally, Fang Yuan had to stop and wait for the panther to move away from a specific location. This was also the reason why Tu Shi gave 5 minutes. Fang Yuan needed the time to arrange the formation. Good. You are indeed my son. You will continue to study with me in the following days. In a month, there will be an even stricter test which will concern your life and death. If you cannot pass, you shall die. Tu Shi laughed, his laughter containing madness. Fang Yuan's young body was standing inside the cage. He glanced at the panther that was constantly struggling inside the goo formation, and then glanced at Tu Shi, sighing softly. This Formation Path Dream Realm's second stage was passed. Next was the third stage. Fang Yuan followed Tu Shi to a riverside where the tides were coming in fast. Looking at the water of this river that was flowing to the east and was red like blood, Fang Yuan immediately realized. This was Southern Border's Red Dragon River. Southern Border had 3 great rivers that passed through the whole region: Red Dragon River, Jade Dragon River, and Yellow Dragon River. Fang Yuan immediately had a bad feeling when he saw this river. Sure enough, at the next moment, he heard Tu Shi's voice. I have already lent you the goo worms. Now you can only depend on yourself. If you cannot construct a goo formation, you are well aware of the consequences. Fang Yuan was just about to speak to stall for time, but he was slapped on the back by Tu Shi. Fang Yuan was simply unable to resist the enormous strength and was immediately pushed into Red Dragon River. F***ck. Fang Yuan cursed inwardly as he fell into the surging river and was immediately swept away by the current helplessly. Fang Yuan struggled with all his might. He only had a young body. Fortunately, Fang Yuan's swimming ability was carried over, and after struggling for a while, he was able to raise his head out of the water and took in large breaths. Making the best use of his time, Fang Yuan inspected the goo worms he had. Damn it! Soon, he mentally cursed once again, because this time, it was not just the 4 mortal goo like he expected, but 12 he had to arrange them in such a short period of time. There were too many ways to arrange them, and under such terrible conditions, hope was slim. Fang Yuan did not hesitate this time, and directly activated Unravel Dream. Immediately, an answer appeared in his mind. He immediately understood the first 3 steps of how to activate the goo worms and arrange the goo formation. Only the first 3 steps. Fang Yuan had no choice but to continue to activate Unravel Dream. The 4th step, 5th step, and 6th step also appeared in his mind. It was an accurate and precise answer, but there were still some steps from being able to construct the goo formation. Fang Yuan was just about to activate Unravel Dream for the 3rd time, when suddenly a change occurred in the river, and he was swallowed by a whirlpool. Bam! A muffled sound echoed. Fang Yuan crashed headfirst into a tree floating in the whirlpool, falling unconscious immediately. The next moment, Fang Yuan woke up. He had returned to reality. His soul was severely injured, making him see stars. He quickly used Guts Goo. 1, 2, 6 Guts Goo before he finally recovered. The 3rd stage is even more difficult. The environment to arrange the formation is so hazardous. But my formation path attainment has already advanced to quasi-master level. After Fang Yuan realized it, he slowly opened his eyes with a trace of joy. What was attainment level? Attainment level was a goo master's unique cognition, involving their sensations and experiences, their insights towards nurturing, using, refining goo, and so on, summed up and condensed. It was their comprehension of the great Tao of heaven and earth. Attainment levels were divided into 5 levels: ordinary, Master, Grandmaster, Great Grandmaster, and Supreme Grandmaster. Naturally, in between these, there were small levels like Quasi-Master, Quasi-Grandmaster, and Quasi-Great Grandmaster. Ordinary attainment was the level that most Gu masters would reach in their lifetimes. Quasi-Master attainment was already rare. Young Gu masters with outstanding aptitude or experienced old Gu masters could reach this. Master level was when the use of Gu worms went beyond superficial workmanship to the level of an art. It was rare to find even one master among 10,000 Gu masters. For example, during the contest of Imperial Court, there were only 5 enslavement path masters: Jiang Baoya, Yang Ping, Ma Zun, Chang Shanin, Feng Yuan, and New Air Tuesday. Naturally, the 1 in 10,000 was referring to mortals. To rank 6 Gu immortals, their main paths were this level at minimum. Those who possessed quasi-grandmaster attainment were often elites among rank 6 Gu immortals. Grandmaster level was when one had a very profound grasp of the path, having deep foundations, and being able to mimic the effects of other paths. Specifically, the main path's Gu worms could be used to imitate the advantages of other paths. He Fan's true inheritance had an immortal killer move, 100 Years Harmony, which was a classic example. It used time path Gu worms to produce an effective information path. This also showed that He Fan's time path attainment level was at least Grandmaster. Normally speaking, there were few Gu immortals that could attain Grandmaster level. It often required 100 years or even hundreds of years of accumulation, along with natural talent. In Feng Yuan's first life, he had attained Grandmaster in Blood Path only in the latter stage of his 500 years of life. Those whom were able to have Grandmaster attainment level were mostly rank 7 Gu immortals. Above Grandmaster was Quasi-Great Grandmaster, which was even rarer. They were often rank 7 experts or certain rank 8s ths for Great Grandmaster level. Most rank 8 Gu immortals would attain this in their lifetimes. Those whom were able to attain Quasi-Supreme Grandmaster were scarce, few produced even in thousands of years. The rarity of Supreme Grandmasters need not be explained. For instance, in Refinement Path, there were only 3 Supreme Grandmasters in history. Among them was a hairy man, long hair ancestor. Feng Yuan's Formation Path attainment level could not even be counted as ordinary, but now it had soared to Quasi-Master level. Most Gu masters would find it difficult to reach this in their lifetimes, no matter how much effort they put in. Feng Yuan had attained this just by using up a few days of time and exploring 2 stages of the Dream Realm. This was the power of Dream Realms. They contained true meaning. Once a Gu immortal successfully explored a Dream Realm and obtained the true meaning, their attainment level would be directly raised, and their understanding of part of the Great Tao would be deepened. Just 2 stages were enough to advance to Quasi-Master level and Formation Path. This Dream Realm is extraordinary. No wonder it has such difficulty. But I really haven't heard of Tu Shi Cheng. His method of education was truly unique, leaving Feng Yuan speechless. But the person he was educating was this Dream Realm's source. This youth was clearly a major character. Feng Yuan could clearly sense he was only a step away from Master level and Formation Path. As long as I complete the 3rd stage, my Formation Path attainment level will soar to Master. Feng Yuan excitedly licked his lips. The successful exploration of the Dream Realm raised his foundation. This increase was so huge, allowing Feng Yuan to go through an extraordinary shortcut, and he was unable to stop desiring for more. But since he had already left the Dream Realm, Feng Yuan was not in haste to go back in that he recalled all the scenes in the 3rd stage, especially the Gu worms with him. He had only recognized 60% of them. Thus he was now searching for information on these Gu worms to increase his understanding. These were all mortal Gu. It was just that most of them had long since vanished in history. Feng Yuan soon found the information he wanted and gained an understanding of these mortal Gu. Then he began to reread those mortal Formation Path inheritances he had bought before. The feeling he got from reading this time was a completely different experience from before. Previously, Feng Yuan only saw the surface of most of the contents of the inheritances, but now, he was able to see their deeper meanings with just one look. They were clearly things he had already read, but Feng Yuan made new discoveries this time. This feeling was extremely mysterious, like sudden enlightenment. However, there were things which Feng Yuan could not completely comprehend. After all, he was only a quasi-master. Some outstanding characters among mortal Gu masters could reach master level. The inheritances they left behind naturally had some things Fang Yuan could not understand properly at the moment. Fang Yuan was immersed in the profundity of formation path, unaware of the passing time. But if he was thirsty, he drank water. If he was hungry, he ate some fruits. Many thoughts emerged and disappeared like waves in his mind. He was using wisdom path methods to help quicken his progress of learning formation path. Formation path's contents were truly vast, having connections with every path. Thus, it was considered the most complicated path. Only when Wuan requested an audience did Fang Yuan slowly come back to his senses. Unknowingly, 8 days have already passed. Fang Yuan was in a daze for a moment before his gaze slowly cleared up, in his mind. Most of the disordered thoughts gradually faded. For the last 10 days, Fang Yuan was lost in the learning process. Not only did his formation path attainment level receive a boost, his comprehension of various basic contents of formation path had also strengthened. What is he here for? Fang Yuan impatiently furrowed his brows, but after thinking for a moment, he still decided to see this Wu Clan Gu immortaled, as it turned out. Wuan brought over Lady White Rabbit, who reported the situation of the Dream Realm business and gave concrete accounts to Fang Yuan for inspection. Despite Fang Yuan not placing attention on this business, he was, after all, the leader of the whole business, as a subordinate. Lady White Rabbit had to hand over the report. Chapter 1327, Letter of Chapter to Qi Shang. Chapter 1327, Letter of Challenge to Qi Shang. Fang Yuan roughly skimmed through the accounts, increasing his understanding of the forces around him. He then asked Wuan and Lady White Rabbit to leave. Lord, there is a matter. I don't know if I should speak of it or not. Before leaving, Wuan spoke with some hesitation. Speak. Fang Yuan was straightforward. Wuan reported to Fang Yuan that there were some rumors recently saying that Qi Clan Gu immortal Qi Shang was coming over to inspect the Super Gu formation. Fang Yuan immediately understood Wuan's meaning and waved for him to leave. Xiao Si Lu has many pursuers. This Qi Shang is the most important one among them. He has never taken the initiative to do an inspection. This time, he is most likely coming over to find trouble with me. However, Righteous Path Gu immortals could not disregard all considerations and engage in life and death battle. At most, there would be a drop in reputation. At worst, I will give up my reputation and avoid fighting. Fang Yuan rubbed his chin. But I also need to prevent my secrets from being exposed. After all, this Super Gu formation was built under the leadership of Qi Clan. Among Southern Border's super forces, Qi Clan is absolutely the #1 force in formation path. Fang Yuan already understood those mortal formation path contents clearly, and there were only a few things which he could not understand completely. However, when he looked at this Super Gu formation he was in, there was still no change. He was still dazzled like an ant facing a vast river of stars. Qi Clan's first Supreme Elder had personally set up this Super Gu formation. He was a great grandmaster in formation path. Qi Shang's arrival was quicker than everyone's expectations. A banquet to welcome him was essential, because Qi Shang represented Qi Clan in this trip. What's more, he was responsible for inspecting around the Super Gu formation to see if there were any defensive flaws and so on. During the banquet, everyone interacted with each other, portraying a cohesive gathering on the outside. But secretly, there were undercurrents brewing. The perceptive people knew this was not originally Qi Shang's task, but he had taken the initiative for this duty. Everyone in Southern Border knew Qi Shang was pursuing Xiao Si Lu, but in these recent times, there were rumors of Wu Yihai being very close with Xiao Si Lu. Qi Shang's objective in this trip was self-evident, but unfortunately, Fang Yuan did not partake in this banquet, instead holed up in the Gu formation, continuing to explore the Dream Realm. Many people interested in this could not help but be disappointed at not being able to see a good show. Beata slowly put down his cup. Nephew Qi Shang, I have already introduced all the Gu immortals here to you. They are all elites. Unfortunately, there is still one person who has not appeared today. This person is even more outstanding. He came from Eastern Sea, and later on, became a part of our Southern Border. Recently, he has defeated Xia Fei Kuai and Mountain Moving Old Monster, and is the head of Wu Clan here. All the Gu immortals in the banquet felt a jolt in their minds. They all knew precisely whom Bada was talking about. Qi Shang wore a white robe. He had a handsome face, deep eyes, and an aquiline nose, giving him a dark and devious aura. He was 160 years old by now. Old Treeman Bada was much older than him. Qi clan and Ba clan were also united by marriage. Thus Bada was not randomly addressing Qi Shang by calling him nephew. Qi Shang smiled. I have also heard of the great name of Wu Yihai. It is truly regretful that I could not meet him today, but I will be here for some time, and I will also be inspecting all around the Gu formation. At that time, I will definitely meet Wu Yihai. Qi Shang showcased initiative, immediately making everyone think over this. Fang Yuan, who was hiding away, looked quite weak-willed compared to Qi Shang. The banquet ended. Wu and Wu Liao were aggrieved, and both requested to have an audience with Fang Yuan. They had a very uncomfortable time in this banquet. They were cast aside by the others and even taunted. The only thing missing was nobody asking them for a spar. Oh, since that is the case, then I shall hold a banquet tomorrow. Send an invitation to Qi Shang. Fang Yuan thought for a bit before speaking. Wu and Wu Liao glanced at each other. They felt excited as they retreated with Fang Yuan's order. Only Fang Yuan, alone, remained in the large hall. That he walked to the depths of the hall and looked at the dream realm. He had already explored more than half of this formation path dream realm. After using Unravel Dream, Fang Yuan had passed through the third, fourth, and fifth stages. The main contents of the dream realm were Tu Shi Cheng teaching his son about formation path. His education style was brutal and harsh, using survival to forcefully stimulate his son's potential. Fang Yuan had suffered so much from this that he no longer had the energy to curse. Unravel Dream had outstanding effects indeed. These stages were no obstacle to Fang Yuan, letting Fang Yuan's current formation path attainment soar once again. He had not only stepped in a master level, he even went one step further, becoming a quasi-grandmaster. But I still am a long way from truly reaching formation path grandmaster level. Fang Yuan had an extremely clear sensation of this. Towards the later stages, attainment levels became increasingly difficult to raise. This dream realm is still not over. According to its size, there are at least 2 stages left. This Tu Shicheng's son was truly amazing. His formation path attainment was definitely above grandmaster level. But recently, Qi Shang has been inspecting the various places of the Gu formation. I should restrain myself a bit and stop exploring the dream realm. After all, this Super Gu formation was constructed mainly by Qi clan. Fang Yuan was still not able to thoroughly understand this Super Gu formation, so it was better for him to be careful. Fang Yuan knew that once the secret of him being able to effectively explore dream realms was exposed, it would create an extremely huge impact at that time. Not only southern border, the other 4 regions would also be shaken and would mobilize their forces to find him. Wu Yihai is inviting me to a banquet tomorrow. Looking at Wu, Qi Shang smiled. I appreciate Wu Yihai's good intention, but, forgive me, I am on official business and have to prioritize it. Wait for me to finish inspecting the Gu formation. After that, I can visit to thank him for his hospitality. Qi Shang refused Fang Yuan's invitation with a slight smile on his face. Wu felt helpless. As he left with a face filled with anger and embarrassment, he reported this to Fang Yuan. Qi Shang's action was slightly overboard and had slapped Wu clan's face. This made both Wu Liao and Wu indignant. The other clan's Gu immortals, however, were secretly laughing at this, anticipating a good show. Regardless, Fang Yuan was calm the whole time, but he indifferently looked at Wu and Wu Liao. Since that is the case, then we shall wait. He did not look the least bit angry, but Wu and Wu Liao were inwardly anxious, feeling like their face had been torn by Qi Shang. But since Fang Yuan did not look anxious at all, they could only take their leave. Although Fang Yuan could not continue exploring the dream realm, he still had a lot of other things to do. For instance, constructing coiling thread caves to expand the scale of regretful spiders. This was to be the sovereign immortal aperture's second large-scale resource. Expansion. Fang Yuan had been preparing for it these last days. It was all to construct an environment that was suitable for ordinary spiders to qualitatively transform into regretful spiders. According to Dong Fang tribe's method, Constructing coiling thread caves required setting up a goo formation, and it also required a rank 6 immortal material, dark soft silk, and a rank 7 immortal material, regret water rock. Fang Yuan had already gathered dark soft silk and regret water rocks. He had paid a large amount of immortal essence stones as well as some other immortal materials for them. Next was setting up the goo formation. This was clearly a goo formation that concerned immortal materials. Normally speaking, this kind of goo formation, which relied upon immortal materials, could only be deduced and created by a Grandmaster level formation path goo immortal. And a great Grandmaster formation path goo immortal could construct a goo formation using the natural Tao marks in the world as the foundation. Prior to exploring the formation path dream realm, Fang Yuan felt like he was looking at an illegible book when he considered this goo formation. But now, he understood it clearly. After all, he had quasi-grandmaster attainment. Moreover, Fang Yuan still had some inspiration. Maybe I can improve this goo formation and add in perseverance immortal goo. According to the principle of this goo formation, if I add in perseverance immortal goo, the production of regretful spiders will at least multiply by 8. Fang Yuan's heart thumped with excitement at such a concept. If he could achieve this target, then the regretful spider business would surpass the dragonfish. The profits it could bring Fang Yuan could surpass even the guts goo business. This seemed to be exaggerated, but if looked at carefully, it was true. Guts goo's production was restricted by the quality and the quantity of souls. Currently, Langya sect was killing desolate beasts in Taichio and using their souls as the resources to produce guts goo. They were also bringing in some souls from Treasure Yellow Heaven as well as the Northern Icy Plain as replenishment. The key point was there was Western Desert Shao Clan, which could take in all the regretful spiders even if its supply was much higher. There was no need to worry about the sales of regretful spiders. Furthermore, Fang Yuan had a collaborative relationship with Shao Clan. Fang Yuan started deducing, but soon, he ran into a problem that he was unable to arrange a part of the goo formation. This already surpassed his limits regardless of how many wisdom path methods he used. I am only a quasi-grandmaster. If I were a grandmaster, I would have the foundation to modify this goo formation. Fang Yuan realized. But although I am not a formation path grandmaster, there is someone nearby who has this attainment level. This person was none other than Qi Shang. After Qi Shang refused Fang Yuan's invitation, he started patrolling all the places around the super goo formation. Every station goo immortal welcomed Qi Shang warmly. Qi Shang was intentionally delaying his inspection. Everyone knew that the longer he delayed, the more Wu clan's face would be lost. Naturally, it was Wu Yihai that Qi Shang held hostility towards, not Wu clan. A love rival. Wu Yihai, you think of yourself as so high and mighty. You look down on me. By inviting me, do you think I will scuttle towards you? Humph. I want you to come look for me personally. Qi Shang had such an intention in his mind. But soon, this plan of his was destroyed, because Fang Yuan's letter of challenge was in his hands. In the letter, Fang Yuan wrote, I once toured scenic spots with Fairy Si Lu, and in that time, your name was mentioned. Fairy Si Lu praised you as a genius in formation path, but I, Wu Yihai, don't accept that. I have created a formation path problem. Let's see if you can answer it. If you can, then it is your win. If you can't, it is your loss. I will be informing Fairy Si Lu of this result when I return. Qi Shang completely lost it. Wu Yihai, as expected, you could not take it anymore. But you actually want to use formation path to trouble me? You, a transformation path goo immortal, want to use formation path to embarrass me? What gave you the guts? You are asking for your own humiliation. I will definitely tell Fairy Si Lu of your loss and prove my Qi Shang's strength. Chapter 1328. Fang Yuan's Shamelessness. Chapter 1328. Fang Yuan's Shamelessness. Qi Shang felt he was humiliated. Yes, humiliated. At present, in the entire southern border goo immortal world, who did not know of Wu Yihai's identity, who was not aware he cultivated transformation path. But now, Fang Yuan did not use his primary cultivation to trouble Qi Shang, but instead picked Qi Shang's most proficient domain. This was like saying, I don't need to use transformation path to trouble you, because you simply can't compare to me. The disdain overflowed in this challenge that he could not take it. This could not be endured. Qi Shang's eyes were wide open as he pinched Fang Yuan's information path goo worm and mumbled, "Let me see what problem you brought out." This is quite something. Soon, a trace of solemnness appeared on Qi Shang's face. As far as he was concerned, Fang Yuan's question was quite challenging. But soon, Qi Shang settled himself. No wonder he is confident of using formation path to harass me. This problem is slightly difficult. He made this problem? That should not be possible. His main cultivation is transformation path. It should be a Wu clan formation path Gu immortal behind him who created this problem. Humph. With his identity as Wu Yang's brother, how could Wu clan's Gu immortals not help him? Although Wu clan was not specialized in formation path, as long as it was a super force, they would have some involvement in formation path, because super forces needed to guard their resource points and had a large-scale demand for Gu formations. But even if a Wu clan Gu immortal helped you, so what? In terms of the clan's strength, my Qi clan is indeed slightly inferior. But if just comparing formation path attainment, my Qi clan is undoubtedly in first place in southern border. Qi Shang felt intense pride towards his clan that he gathered all his senses and dived into Fang Yuan's problem. The more he pondered, the more he lost himself. With his analysis, he had divided the problem into dozens of segments. Normal methods cannot be used to solve the issue of water and fire opposing each other. The whole Gu formation demands a circular formation. A square formation can be discarded. How to solve this difficulty? This is slightly difficult. But this can't defeat me. Qi Shang's fighting spirit soared high like he had been injected with adrenaline. He inwardly told himself that he had to teach Fang Yuan a fierce lesson. Let him know that he, Qi Shang, could not be humiliated. Lord, the evening banquet that Luo clan's Gu immortals invited you to is going to start soon. We should be on our way. At this time, a rank 6 Gu immortal of Qi clan, Qi Lu, reminded Qi Shang from outside the door. Not going. Qi Shang did not even raise his head. He refused while continuing to deduce the problems in his mind. But, we already agreed. Qi Lu hesitated. I said I am not going. Leave. Qi Shang impatiently replied. Qi Lu could only helplessly leave. Qi Shang took in a deep breath. Looking at the formation path problem Fang Yuan sent him, his eyes brightened as he mumbled. What good is there in a banquet? The important thing is to defeat him. The faster I can solve this problem, the better it is. You dare to humiliate me. The night passed like this. Qi Shang had not slept the whole time. His eyes were bloodshot. His hair was in a mess, and he was extremely tired. With a Gu immortal's physique, it did not matter if they stayed up all night. But Qi Shang was rather exhausted. He had not rested even a moment during this night, and had put in all his effort to deduce and plan, taxing both his mind and energy. This problem is indeed slightly difficult. But I have already solved it. Ha ha ha. You dare to mess with me. I will let you taste my awesomeness. Despite being exhausted, Qi Shang was extremely excited and laughed heartily. He could not wait to see how Fang Yuan would respond. I will go right now and enjoy your expression. Qi Shang walked to the entrance when he suddenly stopped. No. I am standing against Wu Yihai right now. We are like generals. How could I take the initiative to visit him? My reputation will be lost. I need to send a subordinate. Soon after, Qi clan rank 6 Gu immortal Qi Lu arrived in Qi Shang's study. Little Lu, send this to Wu Yihai. Haha, I want to teach him a lesson. Qi Shang instructed. Qi Lu quickly agreed. His cultivation level was lower than Qi Shang, and he knew Qi Shang was the hope of Qi clan in formation path. Qi clan's first supreme elder, Qi Chu Yu, had said a few times in the past that Qi Shang would inherit his legacy. The significance of these words was huge. Qi Chu Yu was a formation path great grandmaster. Him acknowledging Qi Shang meant Qi Shang was very likely to become a formation path great grandmaster as well. Qi Shang also did not let down the clan that he had displayed his talents and aptitude in formation path since a young age, and with the clan's resources being poured into him, he cultivated hard all year round and did not slack. After receiving Qi clan's nurturing, his current formation path attainment was not to be underestimated. Relaxing. Fang Yuan slowly woke up and stretched out his arms. Although his soul had the protection of Guts Gu, it would become agitated when used too much. Guts Gu was not able to resolve this. but sleep could restore the soul's calmness. After Fang Yuan had a night's sleep, his exhausted state was swept away, and his mind was vigorous again. Qi Shang's information path mortal goo had already been delivered while he was asleep. When Fang Yuan glanced at it, a look of pleasant surprise flashed past his eyes. Oh, he indeed solved it. This speed is quite fast. Fang Yuan sighed as he then immersed himself into the information and started studying it. His eyes shined repeatedly as he gained great enlightenment from Qi Shang's solution. So, it was like this. Fang Yuan rubbed his chin. This was a completely new thought process, and it opened a new window to him. According to this thought process, this answer is still not suitable for my entire goo formation. I need to make slight adjustments in some areas. Fang Yuan inwardly pondered. He did not give the whole goo formation to Qi Shang, and only took out parts of it for Qi Shang to solve. Qi Shang's answers had no errors, but there would still be deviations when the entire goo formation was arranged. However, Fang Yuan's formation path attainment level was already at Quasi-Grandmaster, and using the foundation of these answers, he fully could make some adjustments. Qi Shang was a Grandmaster, and Fang Yuan a Quasi-Grandmaster. There was not a huge difference between the two. If the difference was too high, it would be impossible to modify the formation. It was just like how Fang Yuan currently saw this super goo formation that covered the dream realm. It was still a mystery to him. He could not understand a thing. Fang Yuan made huge gains by receiving the answer to the issue that was troubling him. Indeed worthy of being Southern Border's Qi clan. He mumbled, praising Qi Shang's formation path attainment. With this problem solved, Fang Yuan could continue his plan to modify the goo formation. His mind was calm and serene as he began deducing once again. A few days passed like this. Qi Shang was very anxious. After he sent the answer, he had been waiting for Fang Yuan's reply. But, even after some days, he had not received a response. He did not even feel he could taste his food and drinks properly. What is Wu Yihai playing at? Qi Shang mumbled. Qi Shang, what did you say? In the banquet, a Luo clan Gu immortal asked in confusion. Qi Shang slowly came to his senses, only then realizing he was still in the banquet. He had refused a banquet invitation from Luo clan before, but after solving Fang Yuan's problem, he came to attend one. He had to attend it. Otherwise, was it not the same as not giving face to Luo clan? Gu immortal Qi Gui, who was sitting at the side, quickly mediated. Forgive us. Qi Shang has always been like this. His mind often wanders. Sometimes he even forgets to eat when he is thinking of a formation path problem. He would stand still all of a sudden, and it can happen even while he is walking. Qi Gui had rank 7 cultivation and was the leader of the Qi clansmen stationed here. The Luo clan Gu immortal laughed loudly. I have heard about Qi Shang's behavior. He is indeed a formation path genius. Sigh. If my Luo clan could produce 1 or 2 geniuses with just 20 or 30% of Qi Shang's talents, I would be content. Meanwhile, Fang Yuan's brows were tightly furrowed as he ran into another problem. It seems modifying this Gu formation is already beyond my limits. Fang Yuan had encountered a new problem, and this one was much more difficult than the previous one. He could still make an attempt for the previous one, but this time, he did not even think to attempt it as his ideas were too unreliable. Since that is the case, let's hand it to Qi Shang. Fang Yuan smiled. It's here, it's here. When Qi Shang returned to Qi clan station, he soon got Fang Yuan's information path mortal goo. His eyes brightened in excitement. Do you think it was easy for me? Even I was getting impatient from waiting. Qi Shang sneered while feeling proud. Right now, he was like a winner picking up his battle spoils. However, after his consciousness entered and he learned of the contents in the information path mortal goo, his eyes opened wide in anger. What is Wu Yihai saying? He is actually acting so shamelessly. Qi Shang immediately cursed that I in the letter. Fang Yuan did not mention a single word about the previous challenge letter. Instead, he casually admitted Qi Shang had some ability. Naturally, it could also be Qi Shang getting lucky. If you can solve this problem, I will admit you have the qualifications to pursue Fairy Si Lu. This was what was written in the letter, the mention of Qiao Si Lu. Qi Shang was even more unable to endure it. Are my qualifications up to you to decide? Wu Yihai, I misjudged you. You shameless guy. Qi Shang felt like Fang Yuan was standing in front of him, sneering in disdain and looking down on him. he suddenly had a strong impulse to rip apart Fang Yuan, still mentioning going on a sightseeing tour with Si Lu. Even I have only traveled once with Si Lu. Damn this guy. Qi Shang paced around the study, gritting his teeth in resentment. He almost crushed the information path mortal goo in his hand, but he thought for a moment and withstood this impulse. If I crush this goo, wouldn't it be satisfying Wu Yihai's wish? Humph. He was not able to create difficulties for me. He is definitely afraid of me now, so he is intentionally saying this. Right? Me giving up is probably what he wants to see. I can't let that happen. I will continue to win and make him completely admit his defeat. Make him fully realize my strength. Of course, to prevent him from acting shamelessly again, I must make this matter public. The more people that know of it, the better. Qi Shang learned from his mistake. The origin of this matter was a dispute about a girl. Qi Shang had also found it slightly embarrassing, but now he was willing to throw caution to the wind against Fang Yuan. Chapter 1329. Fang Yuan admitting defeat. Qi clan's area, in the study room. Qi Lu had been summoned, and after hearing Qi Shang's intention, he said with an awkward expression, "Lord, is that good? Our Qi clan and Wu clan's relation is still quite good. At least, even with Wu clan's current situation, our Qi clan has been maintaining neutrality. So what? Other clans can make a move, but our Qi clan can't." Qi Shang was getting angry. Qi Lu thought to himself, Lord Qi Shang is truly like what the rumors said. What should I do now? While thinking, Qi Lu said, I understand Lord's mood, but over here, we have some business where we have been closely collaborating with Wu clan. If we just suddenly fall out, Qi Shang immediately came to a realization. Oh, you are talking about the Dream Realm business? Qi Lu nodded. Lord is wise. Wu clan wanted to do Dream Realm business for some income under the table, but how could their actions be unnoticed by Qi clan? The immortal goo used in this super goo formation belonged to Southern Border's super clans, but the goo formation itself was personally set up by Qi clan's first supreme elder. Although Qi clan contributed few immortal goo, as far as this super goo formation was concerned, they had an enormous influence. Thus, Wu clan had to bring in Qi clan if they wanted to do this. Dream Realm business. Qi clan's goo immortals had much more understanding of the goo formation. If they were not brought in, this business could not be done. Qi Shang sighed inwardly. No wonder First Supreme Elder had once said that it is hard to fathom the minds of people. Sigh. Qi Lu is a fellow Qi clan goo immortal, but for personal gains, he is actually not standing on my side. His expression was gloomy. It was hard to resolve the matter now that he wanted to publicly fall out with Fang Yuan, but he encountered an obstacle in the first step. What should he do now? For a moment, Qi Shang was quite helpless, because he had taken a position here all of a sudden and had always taken cultivation as his main goal. He had very little contact with other Qi clan goo immortals and was always focused on researching formation path. His influence in Qi clan was quite small and could even be said to be the smallest influence among rank 7 goo immortals. It was also the first time he had come to this super goo formation. Now, with his lack of connections, as a grand rank 7 goo immortal, he was actually unable to mobilize Qi Lu. Qi Lu's mood was quite bad, disobeying a rank 7 goo immortal, especially when the latter was an important future hope of the clan. He naturally did not feel good. However, people in low positions naturally had their own survival methods. Qi Lu thought for a bit and said, Lord, it is not that I don't want to do this matter on your behalf. It is just that your status is high. Once this matter is proclaimed, it will have a great impact. How about this? Please let me inform Lord Qi Gui about this matter. He is the leader here. We will listen to his decision. What do you think? Qi Lu's tone was humble and polite, and was even subtly flattering Qi Shang. Qi Shang felt extremely comforted upon hearing this, and nodded. All right, then let's see what Lord Qi Gui says. Qi Gui's brows furrowed when he heard Qi Lu's report that a fight over a woman. Nobody would feel good about involving themselves in a dispute merely over this. Qi Gui felt quite troubled that on one hand, his clansman was Qi Shang. He had to show respect because Qi clan's first supreme elder was behind Qi Shang, and on the other hand, if they really escalated this matter, it would no longer be a personal matter, but a political one which could affect the diplomatic relations between Wu clan and Qi clan. This was a world where the strong were respected and where one individual's strength could surpass a group's. Thus, politics was also determined by individuals. Qi Shang and Wu Yihai had very high status. A conflict between them was a conflict between Wu clan and Qi clan. This was not exaggerated at all, especially Wu clan. It is in a difficult situation, being harassed from all sides. If, at this time, my Qi clan joins in, it will damage the neutrality of Qi clan, and not to mention that we will gain poor reputation for kicking someone when they are down. It will also worsen our relation with Wu clan, harming my clan's interests. But I also have to appease Qi Shang. Qi Gui racked his brains for a while before he actually thought of an idea. He then secretly gave his idea to Qi Shang. We cannot make this a big issue, otherwise the impact will be very bad. Even if we win, we will be making a joke of ourselves. This is, after all, a personal matter. We should deal with this privately. You can tell Fairy Si Lu about the situation. Wu Yihai also has affection towards Xiao Si Lu. If you can ask her to be the witness, Wu Yihai would absolutely not dare to act shamelessly. Qi Shang slapped his thigh and shouted, "Great idea." Qi Gui smiled, slightly pleased with himself. From what Qi Gui saw, this method had even more allure to Qi Shang, who did not want to ruthlessly crush their love rival in front of the girl they loved and gain her attention. Soon, Qi Shang informed Xiao Si Lu of the matter through an information path Gu worm. Regardless of what was going on with Fang Yuan, Qi Shang immediately felt enormous pressure. Now, Fairy Si Lu knows of this. This is a duel between gentlemen, and it was he, Wu Yihai, who sent the challenge. She should not feel disgusted, right? I need to quickly complete Wu Yihai's challenge. This is my specialty. I absolutely cannot lose. The enormous pressure became a huge motivation for Qi Shang. He started concentrating on the problem. Is this another part? It has a slight relation to the previous part of that Gu formation. It is likely the whole Gu formation was divided into two parts. Damn it, if I knew the whole Gu formation, it would have been much easier. Now, I can only deduce according to this part. He was getting a headache? Qi Shang began to use his methods. He was a formation path Gu immortal who knew a mystical Gu formation taught to him personally by First Supreme Elder. This Gu formation used wisdom path Gu worms as the core, while the supplementary Gu worm was an immortal Gu. Normally speaking, be it an immortal killer move or an immortal Gu formation, both used immortal Gu as the core and mortal Gu as supplementary. However, this Gu formation actually did the opposite. The supplementary immortal Gu used was a water path immortal Gu named Sweat. The Gu formation's name was Wisdom Sweat Formation. It slowly activated as Qi Shang poured in his immortal essence. There were no gorgeous lights or sparkles. Instead, an intriguing smell that seemed somewhere between fragrant and foul was formed. The smell grew more intense, shrouding Qi Shang. Gradually, the smell condensed into a fog which covered Qi Shang's face, making him unable to see anything. For 3 days and nights, Qi Shang did not sleep or rest, continuing to deduce. Finally, the fog dissipated and the Gu formation stopped. Some mortal Gu were expended and dead. Only about 10% of them remained, which Qi Shang stored back into his immortal aperture. Among them was Sweat immortal Gu. Qi Shang's whole body was soaked with sweat, as if he had been drenched in a rainstorm. His face also looked pale, but his eyes were shining brightly. All of a sudden, he raised his head and laughed loudly. "Ha! I finally solved it. I will see how you can get out of this, Wu Yihai." After a while, Fang Yuan received the letter. Oh, he got smarter, using Xiao Si Lu to create difficulties for me? Unfortunately, my goal is not her. This little threat is useless. Fang Yuan soon praised once again. Interesting, interesting. This solution is indeed a good method. But why could I not think of it? Although Fang Yuan obtained the answer, he did not focus on it. Instead, he started to evaluate himself. There were many areas in Qi Shang's solution that Fang Yuan had not been able to grasp. Formation path was extremely vast. The inheritances Fang Yuan obtained were only of mortal level. It was natural for him to not be able to grasp them. As for Qi clan, they would not lack immortal level formation path inheritances. Moreover, with generations of development and innovating new things based on the original foundation, They were Southern Border's #1 force in formation path. But even if I don't have immortal inheritances, if my attainment level can reach Grandmaster, I should also be able to solve this problem. Attainment level was one's understanding of the essence of the great Tao. A simple analogy would be the solving of a mathematical problem. Fang Yuan wanted to modify the Gu formation and achieve his goal. It was like he wanted to reach a number, for example 5, that despite having the Gu worms, he did not know how to obtain 5. At this time, Qi Shang's answer was 2 plus 3 equals 5. Fang Yuan came to a realization that he could achieve his target like this. If his attainment level was enough, even if he did not know, he could rely on his instincts to understand the question from parts, to extrapolate information and obtain the answer of 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, or 10/2 equals 5. Naturally, Gu formations were not as simple as this. Especially when there were many Gu worms involved, it became harder to arrange them successfully. The contents of Gu formations were complicated and varied. There were simple Gu formations, compound Gu formations, as well as formations within formations. Depending on the form, there were square formations, circular formations, and so on. Depending on the activation style, there were instant activation formations and delayed activation formations. Then, they were divided further according to paths, fire formations, water formations, and so on. Some Gu formations were like towers, with layers upon layers of designs. Some Gu formations were easy to modify and were like a set of clothes. Modifying them were like sewing a patch. Some Gu formations could not be modified. They were like building blocks, and changing one of them could cause the whole Gu formation to collapse. If one subdivided the Gu formations, the Gu worms involved would become even more complicated. For example, some Gu worms needed to be used together, while some had to be dispersed to influence their respective targets. By the night of the second day, the eagerly waiting Qi Shang received Fang Yuan's reply. This time, with Fairy Si Lu as the witness, I want to see how you will act shamelessly. Qi Shang impatiently sent his consciousness into the information path mortal Gu. His face soon brightened up, because Fang Yuan had admitted his capabilities in the letter and that he was indeed worthy of Fairy Si Lu's admiration. But Fang Yuan had also written that Wu clan had people that could do this, and it was not anything strange. Qi Shang frowned when he saw this, but he was unable to retort since Wu clan indeed had people who could solve the problem at this moment. He saw the last paragraph of the letter. Fang Yuan had put forward a problem again. Moreover, he promised that if Qi Shang could solve this, he would admit Qi Shang was superior to him. Even in front of Fairy Si Lu, he would admit he was inferior. Qi Shang started to breathe in deeply. He imagined the situation when he and Wu Yihai appeared in front of Qiao Si Lu at the same time, with Wu Yihai cupping his fists and saying, "I am inferior to you." A love rival admitting he was inferior. The more Qi Shang thought of this, the more moved he became. Wu Yihai has a high status. He is my biggest rival. I can win this and defeat him. More importantly, Fairy Si Lu is the witness. I don't have to be afraid of Wu Yihai reneging on his promise. Chapter 1330. So it cannot be solved. Wisdom Sweat Formation. Qi Shang set up this Gu formation again, doing his utmost to deduce the formation. But this time, he met with an unforeseen challenge. Difficult, it was really difficult. Even the first 2 rounds added together and multiplied by 10 could not match this. Qi Shang felt like he was a baby trying to ascend a tall mountain. This difficulty. No wonder Wu Yihai is so confident. It is related to the contents of the first 2 Gu formations. No, I must use this chance to humiliate Wu Yihai. I will make him admit that he is inferior to me in front of Fairy Si Lu. After a day and a night, Qi Shang's eyes were filled with blood vessels. He was doing his best to try and tackle this problem at the same time. Fang Yuan was thinking, this difficulty, it has likely surpassed the limits of Grandmaster attainment level. Not long ago, Fang Yuan received Qi Shang's help. He was able to modify the Gu formation of the coiling thread caves. He took a huge step forward. There was an immense breakthrough. However, right before succeeding, Fang Yuan was met with an unprecedented obstacle. If the first problem was a pit, the second was a mound, and this final obstacle was a mountain. Only by climbing to the top and removing the obstacle could he complete the modification of this Gu formation. This obstacle greatly surpassed Fang Yuan's expectations. My initial estimation was that if the goo formation could be deduced, the regretful spider production would be doubled 3 times. That was not the same as 3 times as much. It would increase by 7 times, becoming 8 times the production of the initial size. This growth was terrifying. When the goo formation was created, he would have 7 extra coiling thread caves out of nowhere. Fang Yuan's plan was wonderful, but the realization of it was met with great difficulty. The first 2 steps he managed to complete, but now he had no clue. He was just a step from success. How could Fang Yuan give up now? Thus, he placed his attention on Qi Shang. Many days later, the wisdom sweat formation stopped. Qi Shang's expression was pale. His gaze was drifting. There was no light in his eyes. Damn it. His hair was messy, like growing weed. His expression was of frustration. He gritted his teeth. Even though he gave it his all, he did not succeed. This way, he could not beat Fang Yuan. And worse, Xiao Silu knew of this third challenge. Qi Shang had already bragged that he would resolve this problem. If he failed, forget about Wu Yihai. But how would he face Xiao Silu from now on? Qi Shang felt an unforeseen pressure weighing on him. He quickly ate and rested before going back to his deductions again. Qi Clan.it was to the west of southern border, or rather, it was towards the west of all the super forces currently in southern border. Yang Clan was the neighbor of Qi Clan. This clan was a neighbor of Wu Clan and was finding trouble with Wu Clan recently. Conflict arose due to a wild immortal goo. Qi Clan, Yang Clan, Wu Clan. Following the basic rule of making friends with those far away and making enemies with those close by, Qi Clan and Wu Clan had always had a good relationship. The newest information was sent to Qi Clan's first Supreme Elder, Qi Chuyu. Qi Chuyu took a look and frowned. This intel was talking about none other than the challenge from Fang Yuan to Qi Shang in the Super Goo formation. Inside the Super Goo formation, Qi Clan's leader, Qi Gui, was afraid that conflict between Fang Yuan and Qi Shang would escalate. He had wisely reported this incident to Qi Chuyu. This way, even if the situation worsens, Qi Gui's responsibility would be lowered. After all, he had informed them. Qi Chuyu would divert a portion of his attention to this conflict while he was dealing with complex political matters. After all, both sides had extraordinary statuses. If this was handled improperly, it would escalate further. Qi Shang is troubled. This goo formation problem is beyond the abilities of a grandmaster. The information had recorded Fang Yuan's third formation path issue. Qi Chuyu was a great grandmaster. He only needed a look to spot the difficulty of this problem. Together with the first 2 problems, Wu Yihai is trying to create a goo formation to farm resources. But this person who made the goo formation is too greedy. They have insufficient attainment level and cannot notice it. If I do not say anything to him, with Qi Shang's obsessive nature, he would continue to research it. If he gets injured from this, he might even die. Is this Wu Clan's scheme? They can see Qi Shang's potential, so they are trying to eliminate our future hope. With Wu Clan's current situation, it is unlikely, but I cannot be careless. Qi Chuyu thought of this. A sharp light shined in his eyes. He muttered, "It seems I have to do something." A moment later, Qi Gui visited Qi Shang, bringing with him an information path immortal goo from Qi Chuyu. This is first Supreme Elder's instruction. I have to pass this immortal goo to you. Qi Gui said. Qi Shang blankly received the immortal goo. After looking into it, he saw the details and his expression changed. He cried out in surprise. This is the immortal inheritance left by secluded cultivator Tu Yuan. His earth, water, wind, fire 4 elements formation is unique to him alone. But it had little reputation. Because he kept a low profile, few people knew of it. First Supreme Elder actually gave this immortal inheritance to me. I asked for it so many times, but I did not succeed in the past. Qi Shang was so excited. He looked into the immortal true inheritance without caring about the outside world. When he snapped back to awareness, a long time had passed. It was nighttime already. Time passed really quickly. When did Supreme Elder Qi Gui leave? Forget it. Qi Shang's eyes shined brightly, unable to be looked at directly. Qi Clan First Supreme Elder's true inheritance came at a timely moment. It was what Qi Shang needed most right now. Qi Shang was filled with admiration and gratitude towards Qi Chuyu. So First Supreme Elder has been taking notice of me all along. He saw that I was in trouble, so he helped me. Is this cheating? Probably not. First Supreme Elder did not help me directly. He only gave me a true inheritance. The inspiration to solve the problem was thought of by me. That's it. I have wasted enough time. I need to quickly resolve this problem and show Wu Yihai what I'm capable of. Qi Shang was excited and driven. He used the Wisdom Sweat formation again. 2 days passed. The Gu formation stopped working as Qi Shang walked out angrily. So this Gu formation problem cannot be solved. Wu Yihai, you dare to scam me. Too devious, too scheming. Thankfully, with First Supreme Elder's guidance, I exposed this truth. Thinking of this, Qi Shang gritted his teeth. He had suffered a lot these last days. He barely slept at all. He was invested in the problem. But then, he realized this was unsolvable. Qi Shang felt that Wu Yihai had toyed with him. He was very angry. But soon, he laughed. That's right. This problem cannot be solved. As long as I expose this fact, I win. In fact, I can tell Fairy Silu about this and embarrass this devious Wu Yihai. Qi Shang immediately acted upon it, sending out 2 information path mortal goo. Fang Yuan received 2 information path mortal goo immediately. The first one was from Xiao Cliu. It was not unexpected that Xiao Cliu sent a letter. After looking at it, he was a bit puzzled. But then, he thought of something and looked at Qi Shang's letter. Fang Yuan realized at once. This Qi Shang has improved. He actually went to complain about me, telling Xiao Cliu about the result of this challenge before sending me this letter. This way, he can prevent me from retaliating. He really has improved. Fang Yuan's smile faded. The result was unexpected. His Gu formation had no solution. This was a common situation. Before a deduction succeeds, any new Gu recipe, killer move, Gu formation, they could be unsolvable. They could be impossible to complete. They were merely illusions. There was no possible way of success. Some problems were easy to tell, but others were not so obvious, especially formation path. It used too many Gu worms and paths. It was too complex. Some ideas could not be exposed as unsolvable until the very end. Multiplying my production 8 times. This idea is hoping for too much. It is not possible. Since it is unsolvable, I can only abandon it and find a new modification. But forget about it now. Since I lost the challenge, I should invite Qi Shang over. This person is quite interesting. Qi Shang did not even think about it. He agreed to go over for the banquet. His attitude was different from before. Initially, he thought that Fang Yuan was too arrogant. He refused to go. But now, he was the winner. He felt that this was an apology banquet. He had to go with the attitude of a winner to savor the feelings of the loser. Thus, when he saw Fang Yuan, his first words were, "Wu Yihai, will you relent now?" Fang Yuan rubbed his nose, smiling. Of course, you are a genius. Why would I not relent?" Qi Shang was shocked. He did not expect Fang Yuan to act like this. He admitted his defeat. He did not know what to do now. Before this, he had thought of many possible outcomes and how to deal with Fang Yuan's excuses. But now, Fang Yuan admitted his defeat. He relented. Qi Shang felt like he had nothing to say now.